The Supreme Con Job, the dog and pony show and smoke and mirrors of the United States Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court was invented and implemented in the late 1700s, there was about 4 million people living in the new 13 states. There was only 13 states. And they had 9 justices for a Supreme Court to, decide cases for the pig farmer and the, the trapper and the fisherman and the candlestick maker and the baker. Right, the baker, you know the story. 4 million people, 9 justices. Today we got 325 million and we still got 9 justices. And they're all bar card holding lawyers that are members of that cult, the bar. And you'll notice that all the wealthiest criminals in history, they always have those expensive bar card lawyers. So that tells you all about the bar card cult. They, for money, they'll do anything. For money, they'll do anything. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and heightened pleading standards that came in the late 1970s and early 1980s, wherein the government created this absolute immunity for government officials, also couched in the terms qualified immunity. And then you got absolute prosecutorial and you got absolute judicial immunities that are bantered about by people like Coney or Coney, however she pronounces her name there, BARRET. You know, the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals judge that's just on steroids for defeating pro se litigants in the courts. On steroids with imposing the hyper-technical rules of the bar card cult on anybody that comes before her court. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and this Coney Barrett, however she pronounces her name, being bar card lawyers, they impose these hyper-technical rules on anybody that comes to court. And then, of course, here's the one that, you need to wake up to. Every year, about 8,000 cases get filed in the Supreme Court. And supposedly because they don't have enough time to hear them all, they throw 99% of them in the wastebasket. In other words, they just don't wait and hear them when they come up for hearing. No, they decide that we're going to hear 70 or 80 cases a year, and that's it. And the rest of them are just going in the trash. Now, how would it be if the circuit courts operated that way, or the traffic courts? Where you get your ticket for not wearing a seatbelt, and you get a ticket for an expired registration, no insurance, and you get arrested for a little bit of marijuana. How about we just hear 70 or 80 cases a year, and the rest of the cases just get thrown in the wastebasket? Boy, that'd be a justice system, wouldn't it? Why didn't the government do that? Why didn't the government just, take the thousands and tens of thousands of cases where they fine people gargantuan amounts of money? Why don't they just hear 70 or 80 of those cases and then throw the rest of them in the wastebasket, like they do at the U.S. Supreme Court? Now, I never heard Ruth Bader Ginsburg bitching about this, and I never have seen the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals or any of the other circuit courts start questioning why the U.S. Supreme Court is allowed to hear, 70 or 80 cases and throw the rest in the wastebasket. And this goes on every year, folks. And I'm going to say something about that form of justice. It's a tomfoolery dog and pony show. You're being bamboozled and bullshitted on steroids by the bar that controls the courts of the United States, the bar that controls the courts of the states. You've got this cult. It's called the Bar Association. And they dictate, like freaking Nazis, what you're going to get. Just like this BARRET woman, who I'm not impressed with her one bit. She's just as bad as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because never one time have I seen John Roberts or any of them, not any of them, Justice Scalia, none of them, expose the fact that the American people are under the boot heel of oppression and tyranny of the bar. Now, if you think all bar lawyers are warm and fuzzy, ask yourself a question. Why is it that the most notorious criminals and the slickest, crookedest banksters that have robbed the United States and the world, it's not just the United States, they've robbed the whole stinking world for quadrillions, however you want to say it. The world, the whole planet, there's been a planetary bank robbery, unprecedented in the history of Earth. And, wow, the lawyers are all involved in it directly. They got more lawyers stuffing their pockets with money associated with this global looting than you can possibly imagine. Right, Bill Barr? Come on, Christopher Lay. Let's talk about it with Trey Gowdy. Come on, Trey Gowdy. It doesn't hurt to ask. Doesn't hurt to ask a few questions there, Trey. Good old Nelson and Mullins and Baker and Donaldson. They're representing. That's Senator Baker, by the way. Senator Baker's law firm and Trey Gowdy and the whole boy. Oh, wow, Nelson and Mullins representing Deutsche Bank, the crookedest, slimiest Nazi Swiss bank with Credit Suisse and J.P. Morgan Chase in the world. What a bunch of criminals. All directly associated with 12 million SARS reports since 2006, 7, and 8 there. 12 million. I mean, what are the chances, right? Everybody, what are the chances that they're laundering the money using the subprime predatory foreclosures? And then they churn the real estate over and over and over again. The same houses, the same law firms, the same scheme, the same scam. They churn the dirty money and clean it up through freshly repossessed real estate. Imagine that. That's how it's done, isn't it? So it seems that Finn Sinn's right in business with them and running one of the biggest obstructions of justice in the history of America. Not only do they protect the bankers, but the Treasury gives them huge amounts of billions in bailouts to keep the game going. Where do you think all this money comes from when you keep them from failing? The helicopter, money printing and the quantitative easing, the RICO of the quantitative easing. That's for Patrick S. Lovell and Eric Vaughn and Adam Bromsfeld. However you say your name, Bromsman. The Seagram's liquor fortune, Adam Bromsfeld, or I can't think, Bromsman, I guess. His sister was involved with that NXIVM sex cult bunch up there at Lake George. Imagine that, right up the eastern side of Lake George from where I grew up. Ain't that amazing? Up there at Hewlett's Landing, the Jewish enclave that owned the YMCA. A bunch of Jewish people live in Hewlett's Landing. Everybody knows that, right? Adam Broms, I say your name, Bromsman. Yeah, Eric Vaughn, Patrick S. Lovell. How are they laundering the money, boys? I don't know, maybe BuzzFeed can answer it with Matt Taibbi. Or better yet, let's get Professor William Black. Come on, Bill Black. Are they using the predatory foreclosures and the predatory mortgages? Is that how they're laundering the money, Bill? You're the expert criminologist there with Richard Bowen and Michael Winston and Schwecker. Come on, Christopher Schwecker. Let's explain how it is they launder the money precisely. What's the method of operation? What is their modus operandi? You know what that is, right, Bill Black? It's the best way to rob a bank is to be the lawyers that invest in and control the holding company that, are the puppet masters that control the bank. And, of course, if it happens to be some Treasury officials and law firms that are, U.S. judges' law firms and some of the most well-connected politicians in America's law firms that run and control the holding companies. I mean, shh, don't tell anybody, man. The jig will be up. Shh. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it right there. And as always, hasta la vista. God bless. And you can bet your sweet ass one thing. The bankster gangsters and FinCEN are exposed.